What's up, everybody? Back with another film review. This time I'm going to be reviewing Kingsman The Golden Circle. Now, Kingsman The Golden Circle is the sequel to the first Kingsman, which is highly acclaimed, and I really enjoyed the first film. I thought it was a clever, fresh take on a James Bond, high-tech, agent, underground society sort of thing. And the sequel picks up where that one left off. And they extend that expanded universe a bit with this movie because they add the addition of the Statesmen, which they're founded out of Kentucky, and each group has their own look. Like the ones in London that are the Kingsmen, they are dressed in suits and glasses, whereas the ones from Kentucky, they are more the cowboy look. And they're founded through alcohol and whiskey and stuff like that. That's their main product, whereas the ones in London are obviously suit tailors. The thing about this movie, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, but the thing is, I didn't care very much about the characters. Some of the characters were a bit ridiculous and over the top. Like, for example, the president. He was literally like the EA Sports CEO on the South Park episode. If any of you ever seen that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The villain, she was just eccentric, kind of crazy. You really didn't care much about her motivation or anything like that. It was literally a typical, Cartoon Network episode of like, oh, I'm the villain, I'm going to hold the world for ransom and get a ton of money. Trying to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. I thought the performances here were solid. I thought Channing Tatum did a fine job. I do not remember the actor's name, but he played Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones. He's a solid actor. I've been thinking that ever since I saw him in season 4. I'd like to see him in a lot more things. The main character, I think he does a fine job, but I think it's like the vehicle in which they try to give you more development with him doesn't work very well sometimes. Like, for example, his girlfriend, I really didn't care about their scenario, and there's a position where they get into a serious situation, and you're kind of like, I just didn't care what really happened there, because a lot of the things that happen are a bit a lot of the action and the scenes and whatnot are very over the top. It's very much so like taking a superhero movie and Looney Tunes and putting it into a cage and just shaking it up, and that's what you get. And in that aspect, I had a lot of fun with this movie, but at the same time, I kind of left with a little bit of a headache. It was hard to take it. It's hard for me to take even the movie seriously. Where the first one I took kind of seriously, this one felt a little more whimsical, a little more silly. But that being said, I did still enjoy this film for what it is. I would recommend seeing it. If I were to give it a rating from 1 to 10, I would give it a 7. I definitely think it is above average film. Matthew Vaughn does fine job with the direction. I hear that he's being eyed for Man of Steel 2, and there are some scenes where, in this taxi cab, there's a fight going on, and there are some, panning shots that are actually very interesting. I don't think I've seen before in other films. That would be really interesting to see, Superman through his lens and how he wants to try to, portray that character. I definitely think he's very capable of bringing some new eyes to that character. But he did a fine job with the direction, all of the acting, everything was pretty, spot on. The only thing I would say, I guess, regarding, the actual, craft of the film is I think Matthew Vaughn may be getting a little comfortable with some things. Because there is one scene where literally, I listen to a lot of film soundtracks, and there was a track that was this one, big uplifting moment, and it was literally the exact same track that I heard in X-Men not Days of Future Past, but First Class, where Magneto is turning the satellite and kind of figuring out how to harness his powers. So I don't even know that it's the same music composer, but I guarantee you it is, as X-Men First Class, because he's pulling similar actors, the actor that plays Merlin. He was the villain in Kick-Ass, and he directed the first Kick-Ass. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Christopher Nolan does that. But I'm saying that sometimes when you get that same kind of consistency in a film, it takes away from the uniqueness of an experience. So he had something really fresh with the first one. The sequel was a very capable, competent sequel. I think that it was a little hard to take seriously at times. Just the gravity of the situations didn't really weigh on me. I just kind of was I felt like I watched a 1-hour episode of something kind of silly with a lot of action and not really a lot of substance. So I won't say I'm disappointed because I went in with no expectation. I didn't expect it to be the first one, and it wasn't the first one. But at the same time, I still recommend it. I give it a 7 out of 10. I think you all will have a lot of fun with this one. And I hope you guys enjoyed my film review. That's about all I have to say for it. If you guys like my video, give me a like, subscribe, share around. Leave in the comments anything you want to see me do reviews for. I will be doing a review for the original Blade Runner, and I will also be doing a review for Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition leading up to Justice League. So I will catch you guys sometime soon. See you next time.